segment, we're going to be talking about how to create a WhizBang employee manual, defining your vision and setting your standards. Your employee manual is a very important piece in your staff development process. Your employee manual is going to be the basis for your employee training program. Almost every store owner that I've worked with has a vision in their mind of exactly how they think their store should look, how they think their store should feel, how it should run, everything about their store. If they could close their eyes and they can have a vision of their perfect store in their mind. The trick when you're creating your employee manual is to take that vision of your perfect store in your mind and translate that vision into standards that you can then train your employees to. Let me tell you what I think is one of the most powerful concepts in employee management. As a matter of fact, when I heard this concept, I was listening to a tape similar to what you're listening to right now from retail guru Harry Friedman. When I heard this concept, I actually had to pull the car over to the side of the road because it was so powerful for me, and I hope it's going to be powerful for you too. Here's the concept that I want you to embrace in this segment: non-negotiable standards. When you create your employee manual, you need to define the non-negotiable standards for your store. Non-negotiable standards are the standards which your employees will adhere to in exchange for their paycheck. That's right, you're paying them to work at your store. You have a right, as a matter of fact, you have the responsibility to hold them accountable for the standards that you've set for your store. Your customers deserve the very best sales and service when they enter the door of your store. So you must hold your employees accountable for their interaction for the standards that you've set for your store. Non-negotiable standards, what your employees must do in exchange for their paycheck. So, once you've determined what your non-negotiable standards are, what the standards are that fulfill the vision for your store, you need to figure out how to write these standards down into an employee manual that you can use then as the basis for your training program. Let me quickly talk about two things. Remember, we talked about the three things that make your employees not do what you want them to do. They don't know what to do. So one of the things when you're defining your standards you must do is write out very clearly and specifically what it is you want your employees to do. That's the responsibility. What to do is the responsibility. The other thing that you have to do with each one of your standards is explain to them how to do it. Remember, that's the second reason that employees don't do what you want them to do. So when you're defining your standards, your non-negotiable standards for your store, make sure you tell them what to do, that's the responsibility, and how to do it, that's the behavior. If we go back to the example that I gave about washing the windows, the responsibility is keep the windows and doors clean. The behavior, how to do it, could be written something like this. Wash the windows every morning and every night. Use paper towel and Windex inside and out until you have no streaks and smudges. See, that's very specific. It tells them what behavior specifically you want them to do in order to fulfill their responsibility of keeping the windows clean. So when you're creating your employee manual, make sure you're not only listing responsibilities, but you're also giving behaviors that will help your employees adhere to the standards that you've set. Once you've created your employee manual, we think that there are 5 steps to WhizBang training. Number 1, you want to give each employee a copy of the manual and make sure that they read it from cover to cover. The second step is that they need to watch your training video. Now some of you are saying, well, I don't have a training video. It's simple. It doesn't need to be professionally produced. It doesn't need to be elaborate. You can get your cousin who's got a digital video camera, take a shot of you in your store going over the manual that you've created, your employee manual, in your own voice with your own passion and enthusiasm, going over point by point the standards, the non-negotiable standards that you have set for your store. So now you've got two things happening. First, they have to read the manual, and then they have to watch you explaining the manual and why these pieces are important for working in your store. Nobody can give the culture, the vision, the excitement, and enthusiasm for your store better than you can. Here's what frequently happens when new employees come in. You're busy, right? And so you say, hey, Janie, can you train this new person? Well, Janie's vision and Janie's standards may not be yours. So if you can get a video, even if it's a rough video, what we call a one-shot wonder, it doesn't matter. The point is that you want to have the training come directly from you. And if you can do a video, it eliminates all the time that you have to spend personally one-on-one working with each new employee. So read the manual, have them watch the video. While they're watching the video, have them fill out a worksheet. Worksheet is not intended to be tricky. It's just a simple fill in the blanks, follow along with the video and the manual so that you know that they're tracking along and they're paying attention and keying in on the most important parts of your employee manual. Now, they've done three things: read the manual, watched the video, and filled out your worksheet. The next day, after they've done that process, you should have them come in and take the test. The test is nothing more, however, than the worksheet that they've previously had to fill out. You're not trying to trick them, you're trying to train them. You're just trying to make sure that what they've learned yesterday, the day before that, they're retaining. So have them take the test, make sure they know what the standards are in your store, and they can recite them back to you. So after they take the test, then you want to do the final fifth step in the training process, which we call the show me. So if you take the example of washing the windows, keeping the windows in your store clean. Once you've told them what their responsibility is, keep the windows clean, given them the behavior of how to keep the windows clean, then you want to give them a roll of paper towels and a bottle of Windex and say, okay, show me that you know how to wash the windows properly. Now once they have shown you that they actually can wash the windows to your standard, they have no excuse, no recourse when you come and say to them, look, your job yesterday was to keep the windows clean. I came in this morning and they're filthy. You know that they know what to do, how to do it, and that they can do it. They've shown you that they can do it to your standards. So those are the 5 steps in creating great training for your store. Have your employees read the manual, watch the video, fill out the worksheet, take the test, and then do the show me.